So we've got Mercenaries, Canis Canem Edit, and Juiced. So start off with Mercenaries. Brilliant game, absolutely brilliant game. Open world, kind of set in a war-torn environment. Basically, you're a mercenary for hire. You've got like a deck of cards, and I think for every kind of card in the deck, you've got to hunt down like a war criminal and stuff like that. Like I say, it's open world. It's really, honestly, it's a brilliant game. Mercenaries, again, one of my favourite games on the system. PlayStation 2 has got so many good games, if you ask me. Like I say, it's probably one of my most played collections, this is. Brought this on release, and it's probably one of the best pickups I've ever made. One of the best release games I've ever got. I've got the sequel again on Xbox 360, but I think it was Pete SNES-tastic that's touched upon this again. That game, Mercenaries 2, is nowhere near as good as this. I don't know, they kind of made it worse. I think Pete SNES-tastic actually absolutely hates that game. I'm not sure what his opinions are on the original game, Mercenaries, but yeah, I don't hate it as much as it. I find it playable, but compared to this game pisses all over Mercenaries 2. It's brilliant. Just one problem with this game. No disc. If anybody has a spare Mercenaries disc, please, please, please let me know. I basically borrowed this out to one of my ex-girlfriend's brothers, and then obviously when I split up with my girlfriend, I got my game back off him. But of course I didn't realise until years later that the fucker never put the disc back in. So I basically just got the box and the instructions and no disc. So yeah, if you do have a disc, please let me know, because I'd love to get that off you. Canis Canem Edit, Rockstar game. What more needs to be said? Open world environment. You play as like a teenager going through a school term in like a boarding school, but as the game goes on, you can go out in the town. It's free roam all around the town and stuff like that. You can go to the carnival and stuff like that. And what I like about this is because it takes place over like a school term, the environments change with the seasons. Like around Halloween, the town and the school will have like Halloween decorations and themes up, and the same around Christmas and I think like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So yeah, it goes on with the seasons, like the environment changes with the seasons. It's a really good game. If you've never played this, pick it up, play it. I don't think you'll regret it. Available on the 360 as well, I think. I think it's called the Scholarship Edition, so it's probably got a few more extra features as well if you want to play it on current gen. Next is Juiced Platinum Edition. Ugh, I hate Platinums. Might actually swap my Platinums out. The few Platinums that I've got, I might swap them out and get them back on Blue Label, Blue Box, Black Label, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Platinum Editions like most collectors. I think it's just one of those OCD kind of things, isn't it? We're not set on Platinum Editions. But yeah, anyway, Juiced, the game that I brought pre-owned. But like I say, I brought it pre-owned when the system was still current gen. Basically picked it up because I thought it was going to be a bit like Need for Speed Underground, but it really wasn't. It plays completely different, handles completely different. It's kind of like a really dumbed down version of it. But once you get into it, you can have a bit of fun with it. I did get many days of enjoyment out of this once I got into it, but it's one of those games that you've got to get into first. Again, I've got the sequel on the Xbox 360, Juiced 2, Hot Import Nights. That game is awesome. It is basically everything that's wrong with this game, it's been put right in the sequel. So if you want to pick up a Juiced game, then pick up Juiced 2 for the current gen systems. So we have Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and Splinter Cell. So Star Wars Battlefront, this is basically you just play through all the battles that are in the Star Wars films. You get to play through as some of the greatest characters. I mean, you get to play as some of the Jedi and some of the Sith alike, like Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You even get to play as Darth, and I think you can even play as the Emperor at one point as well. You get to go in all the famous kind of vehicles like the X-Wings and stuff like that for when you have space battles and stuff like that. It's just really good. You have to capture kind of checkpoints, and then like I say, you just battle through the war, and it's a really fun game. Once you get into it, it's really addictive. Is it is it Battle? Is it better than the first Battlefront? Probably, but the first Battlefront is a game that I would also like to get back into the collection. Just to complete the Battlefront, because that is a good game as well. But Battlefront 2, absolutely amazing Star Wars game. If you're into Star Wars games, then you've got to like Battlefront, really. So then we've got Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which is kind of like, just a bounty hunter game set within the Star Wars universe. You play as Jango Fett, Boba Fett's father. This is kind of a game that I probably should have put in my hidden gems, because I don't think many people know about it, or probably people overlook it. And it's not a bad Star Wars game, to be honest with you. I think it was Shenmue who brought this up, actually. He said that you can basically take a mediocre game, but as soon as you set it in the Star Wars kind of universe, it makes it like that much better. Do you know what I mean? You can make a mediocre game into a better game just by adding Star Wars to it. And that's kind of what this game is. If it was just like some kind of generic character, it'd be kind of like a meh game. But because you play as Jango Fett in the Star Wars universe, collecting bounties, it just makes it that much cooler. So yeah, if you ever see it about cheap, pick it up. Splinter Cell Platinum Edition. Now there is an anecdote behind why this is on Platinum, and about how pissed off I was when I actually got this game from brand new. So yeah, Splinter Cell. Wasn't this game supposed to be an Xbox original exclusive? I'm sure that's how it started out. Splinter Cell was supposed to be exclusive to Xbox back in the day, but for some reason then it went multi-platform. But yeah, I didn't know it got released on the PlayStation 2 until like a while after. Hence, Platinum Edition. But yeah, anyway, I asked for this game for Christmas one year, and my parents went out and got it for me. But when I unwrapped it on Christmas Day, I was like, yeah, that's cool, but this is the Xbox original version. Basically, they got me the Xbox original version of Splinter Cell, and they didn't think anything about it. Do you know what I mean? They just didn't put much thought into it, really. They just brought it. And they got it from Argos, but because they kept the receipt, obviously they just thought, oh, it's no problem, we'll just take it back and swap it for the PlayStation 2 version. Simple enough. But when they did, Argos gave them the Platinum version. Rather than the original version, they gave them the Platinum version. And then rather than take it back a second time, I just thought, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? It's the same game. I was a lot less OCD about Platinum Editions back then. I didn't really like them. It did piss me off a bit. But I'm a bit more OCD about it now than I was back then, so I just kept it. But again, this might be a game that I'll probably switch out and get back on, Black Label. So yeah, Splinter Cell, good game. I kind of brought it because I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan, which you'll see coming up kind of next. But yeah, kind of like a stealth espionage game, which the kind of game, this is another thing, changing franchises again, because they started off in this kind of like secret agent, espionage, silent assassin kind of thing, and then they kind of changed it, didn't they? They kind of changed it to like a more actiony kind of game, which to me, that isn't Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell is about creeping around in the darkness, using your night vision goggles, picking people off with silenced weapons. So yeah, like I said, coming up next, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, and we've also got Hitman, Silent Assassin there on the end. So yeah, we'll start off with Metal Gear Solids. Absolutely love this franchise. I think it's one of the best franchises ever made. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, obviously you either love it or you hate it. I think, in fact, I know Ninja Bear Hug Stewart, he does not get on with Metal Gear Solid at all. It's not his kind of game. Do you know what I mean? He's not into that kind of sneaking around. He just wants to jump into the action. And I can totally see his point. Yeah, you've got to have like a little bit of patience with Metal Gear Solid games, and if it's not your kind of thing, then you're not going to like it. But I love that kind of thing. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid, obviously one of the best games released on the PlayStation 1. Metal Gear Solid 2 sequel, had to get it. They pulled the old switcheroo on us, didn't they? They gave you that little introduction piece where you play as Snake and you think, oh yeah, and then they pull the switcheroo on you and introduce Raiden as a new character, and you kind of like, who the fuck's this fucker with his blonde hair and shit like that? But as it goes, I actually didn't mind Raiden. I mean, obviously he's a lot more badass nowadays with his cyborg suit or whatever. It's not a suit, is it? He is a cyborg now, basically. In his cyborg form. There you go. That's what I was looking for. That's the word. Form. Now, Metal Gear Solid 3. This is a prequel to like the original Metal Gear Solid. You actually play as Big Boss. Naked Snake, I think it is, isn't it? Big Boss, Naked Snake, not Solid Snake. This game is my favourite in the franchise so far. I mean, I do have the Guns of the Patriots, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots on PS3 as well. Basically what I brought the system for. But anyway, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is an amazing game. It just puts you into that Cold War environment in the jungle, and you basically have to survive, don't you? You kill food, you eat it to survive, to keep your stamina up, because if your stamina goes down, your life starts going down, you die. You get to do field repairs, like if you get shot, removing bullets, mending broken bones and stuff like that, and it's got an amazing storyline. Metal Gear Solid has got an amazing storyline. It's so deep. Yeah, it's got a fucking big, long-ass cutscenes, but it's very story-driven, and the gameplay is as good as the cutscenes, in my opinion. I think it's just a brilliant franchise. Yeah, then we've got Hitman 2, Silent Assassins on the end there. Again, brilliant game. It's Hitman. You go around, you complete your targets how you want to, really. This is probably a bit more linear than the newer games, but it's still a really good game. Really enjoyed it. Platinum Edition again, because I brought it pre-owned at the time. Yeah, you can't actually see it on camera, but there's a big circle on here where I moved the pre-owned sticker, and it kind of made the plastic on the outside bubble, but I'm not too bothered about it, because like I say, Platinum, I might swap them out one day back to the black labels. So now we have the Getaway Black Monday, and Just Cause. So yeah, the Getaway open world kind of game, set in London. It's really cool, just driving around open world, getting in. I mean, how many games do you get to nick like a Vauxhall and drive around bloody Piccadilly and stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? Drive through London. Yeah, quite a good storyline, kind of like a British gangster storyline, bit like Lock, Stock, I guess. The Getaway Black Monday, this basically improves everything that was wrong with this game. This game kind of fixes it. Yeah, like the car handling and stuff like that is a lot better in this game. The storyline's better. The storyline of this game as well, you don't play as one person. You kind of play as 3 different characters, and you play the same story, but from 3 different perspectives. Quite a good game. So yeah, Black Monday is a good game. Just Cause, another open world kind of game. You're an agent, you get set. What I really like about the game is the environment, because you're on like a kind of Pacific kind of, I don't know, is it meant to be Colombia or something? I'll just have a quick look. But yeah, actually, from the screenshot look on the back, you can kind of see, you play on like this, I think it's Puerto Rico or something like that, kind of one of them kind of islands in the like, you know, with the blue sea and all the greenery, like the countryside. It's a really nice looking game. I got Just Cause 2 as well on the PS3 not long back, probably about a year back, and I didn't really enjoy it as much as this game. I ended up just trading it with someone, a fellow YouTuber actually. I did a trade with, but yeah, Just Cause 1, good game. So now we have True Crime, New York City, and Tony Hawk's Underground. So we start off with True Crime, Streets of LA, open world game. You play as a police officer, you can go around, solve crimes and stuff like that, and obviously you've got your main story mode and stuff like that. Really good game. True Crime in New York City. Had to get this on release because basically this is just an upgraded version of this. Like I said, it's got extras. This has got a better storyline, and what I like about this as well, it's got like a grading system. So like if you play as a good cop, you get promoted from like a, I don't know, like street patrol, a uniformed officer to thing, and then if you to like a detective, plainclothes detective, and like if you do things wrong, you get demoted back down to it again. Yeah, it's a really good game, and I was really psyched about getting the 3rd game of this, and it was True Crime Hong Kong or something like that. But it got cancelled and it never got released. So yeah, I was kind of bummed out about that, because I got these 2 games, loved them, and I was waiting on the 3rd one and it never came out. Or did it? Ta-da! Sleeping Dogs. For you that don't know, this is basically True Crime Hong Kong, yeah. this was supposed to be like the third game in the series. I don't know what happened. Something happened. Like these was Activision, and then Square Enix picked up the franchise, but for some reason they couldn't use the True Crime name. Something to do with copyright on the True Crime name, so they released it under Sleeping Dogs. But yeah, basically this is True Crime Hong Kong. So yeah, pick this up as well. If you've not picked this up yet, go pick it up. So then we've got Tony Hawk's Underground. I used to be a big fan of the Tony Hawk's Underground skater games, like the Pro Skaters and stuff like that. I used to really like Pro Skater 4. Tony Hawk's Underground, yeah, it just kind of improved on everything. It kind of tweaked everything. And as far as I know, this was the first game that introduced the gimmick of being able to get off your board and walk around and stuff like that. It's got a cool little storyline to go with it as well if you played like the campaign on it. As far as I'm concerned, this was the last good Tony Hawk's game. Every other game after this kind of seemed to just be really shitty, go downhill and be again with the franchise again. It's like the go next gen, and it went worse. So we've got MTV Music Generator 2, Prisoner of War, Ultimate Spider-Man. So we start with Music Generator 2. Does what it says on the tin. It is a music generator. Basically, I've got a game on the PlayStation 1 called Music 2000. A lot of you might have seen it, you might not have even heard of it. But yeah, you basically just take samples, riffs. You can make like your own drum beats and stuff like that. You can basically just make your own dance, kind of like your own tracks and stuff like that. And yeah, I really like that game. And basically this game is, because it's like, it was next gen, this was PlayStation 2, that was PlayStation 1. This does everything that does and a whole lot more. It's just a lot better. It's got better samples, better drum beats, better loops, better melodies and stuff like that. And you can create a lot more kind of different genres of music on this one. Prisoner of War, World War II Prisoner of War. If you've not played this game, again, this is probably one of those that I should have put, now thinking about it, this is one of those gems that I should have added to my video. Basically, you are a prisoner of war. It's kind of like open world-ish, but you're in prison. You're in a POW camp, and you have to escape. For every time you escape, you get caught and you get put in like a more secure jail. Yeah, basically the last level you're in like Colditz or whatever it was. And yeah, you basically just have to walk around. You have to find things to help you escape with, and you have to deal kind of chocolate and food to find out information. It's a good, you know, once you get into it, when you start playing it, you probably think, what the hell is this shit? But the more you get into it, the more you enjoy it. Then on the end we've got Ultimate Spider-Man. Now I think it was Lawn Boy's post sometime last year, he did a video on a Spider-Man game, like a gameplay, and I think he was asking if there was any good Spider-Man games out there, because they've released a lot of Spider-Man games over the years, but most of them are really utter tripe, aren't they? And I recommended this game to him. This is kind of like an open environment game, kind of like an open world kind of Spider-Man, set in the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, and like the graphics are kind of cartoony, so it looks really good. Like a lot of games age badly, don't they? But this still looks good because it's done in like that kind of cartoony, kind of comic book, kind of graphic kind of style. And yeah, it's kind of good. It's not a massive, brilliantly game, but it's kind of what you expect from Spider-Man. Really, you can't really. I was going to say you can't really go wrong, but obviously from other kind of Spider-Man games, we can see that you can go seriously wrong with Spider-Man games. But yeah, I would say that this is probably one of the better Spider-Man games. Probably not the best, but like I say, it is good. And you get to play as other characters as well. You get to play as Venom as well in this game. So, yeah, if you're after a good Spider-Man game, pick this one up. So we've come to the last two games of the collection. These are, as you can see, wrestling games. Yeah, basically brought these because I hadn't played a wrestling game in absolute years, and one year I just thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to ask for a wrestling game for Christmas. So I did, and I got SmackDown vs Raw, and you know what, I absolutely loved it. So the following year I got SmackDown vs Raw 2007, and yeah, brilliant game. They basically just both the same games really, just different storylines. 2007's got a few different kind of modes added to it, but apart from that, they're virtually the same game, just different characters, like different wrestlers and different storylines. But yeah, really enjoyable wrestling games. So yeah, and that's it, guys. That is the end of my PlayStation 2 collection. If you have made it this far, then all I can say is give yourself a pat on the back, because yeah, it's expanded over 3 parts, and thanks very much for watching. No doubt there'll be more collections to come in the future. Of course, if you check out my channel, you can see my collections playlist to see what other collections I got up. I've got DVD collections, obviously all 3 parts of the PlayStation 2 collection if you've missed the other parts, and there's VHS on there as well. Look out for more editions coming to the collections playlist soon. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I've been Shock16. This has been my PlayStation 2 collection. You've been YouTube, and I'm out of here. Bye bye for now.